Welcome everyone. This is now our third webinar in the first of the Beauty Tech AI Insider series. As I promised and teased at the beginning, we will be announcing a new set of series, so stay tuned. The announcements probably will come in the next couple of weeks, but we have a very interesting lineup coming up. Until then, I'm really excited for you guys to join this session. And today's focus is on AI and how AI is reimagining the makeup discovery journey. So we will talk today about that beauty makeup journey from intent to purchase. Before I jump into that, hopefully all of you have received the recordings for the prior two sessions if you registered for the whole webinar series. If not, please reach out to us, but we will be following up with additional links and the details. And just as a reminder, in the emails you received, you should be able to see if you're interested. Please go ahead. You could request a dedicated session for strategic session. You will have a chance to kind of outline what might be of interest to you, and we can then have a conversation with your respective organizations or you to help you plan out your AI journey. So do take a look at that. Let us know. And then, of course, one more call out. If some of you are interested in joining us in the webinars, be it a fireside chat or just a conversation, or perhaps you would like to share something in more depth about the experiences that you're creating, also do reach out. We are getting the interest right now and putting together a schedule. So jump on that list. With that said, let's dive in. So again, welcome and thank you for joining this session. By now, those that have joined the prior sessions know me, but if you are new to this, I'm Irina Mazur. I'm TPO and CMO at Revieve, and today we will be diving into key shift in the beauty industry, specifically happening in the makeup category, where consumer journey, as it always does, is undergoing transformation in light of all of the technology acceleration as well. So our premise is this: makeup discovery no longer begins with just a product filter or category selector. It starts with emotion, with self-impression, expression, with intent. And this shift is how consumer discovers and decide. That has really major implications on how we build technology or structure data or deploy experiences and ultimately drive business growth for that journey. So in this section, we will unpack the why, the how, and what's next, and perhaps share some examples and learnings along the way. So let's maybe begin with the mindset of the modern makeup shopper, and hopefully some of you are the shoppers as well. So it should be fairly easy to kind of get into that mindset. It's very different with makeup. In contrast to perhaps skincare or wellness, which often begins with concern, condition, need for a particular routine, makeup begins with sort of a vision. Consumers no longer just search for, oh, I need a matte lipstick. They want the look. They might say, I want the 90s inspired look, or I want something bold for tonight, or I want dramatic look, or I want natural look. That phrase means something very different depending on which geography you represent, which demographic you represent. But the bottom line is the shift is toward intent-based exploration, and it requires different approach to personalization, the one that focuses more on understanding that intent, translating that to action, to inspiration, and then allowing people basically to express themselves of how they want to feel or how they want to present themselves. So that start by understanding that emotion, visual inspiration perhaps, and it's not necessarily about the product spec per se. So in today's beauty journey, inspiration is often visual, and it definitely happens before the shopping cart. A shopper might have seen a TikTok video and they liked it. They might have liked the red carpet look or some event look. They might have looked at the Pinterest mood board. This visual triggers sparks that desire. But without the opportunity or the easy tool or easy journey to act on them, the journey really ends at passive scrolling and desperate trying to figure out what is it that they need to put together to achieve this look. So in today's reality, we have an opportunity to really bridge this experience. What's needed is an experience where users can perhaps upload or select an inspirational image of their choice. We need AI to help us intelligently analyze that, understand the tones, the finishes, the different products, and then map it back to brands or retailers' catalog, as well as to the individual's facial features. And when it's done right, this turns into exploration, try on, and ultimately confident purchase that meets that intent. Sounds very easy, right? Just a few little steps, but there is a lot of different layers of technology and knowledge that is required to achieve that one step from inspiration, from the look I like when it comes to beauty, to realistic ability to try on from what's available in your catalog to your shoppers, trying it on in a real way so that it actually suits the consumer's facial features, and then leading them to purchase. So in all that journey, a lot of times people ask, well, what's the role of try-on? Try-on is still a very much critical part of this process, but it only works if it's truly realistic and personalized. Today's consumers are sophisticated. They have experience with a variety of different options like that. And they don't want just a gimmicky filter or overlay. It's not the same as they're taken when they're just taking a photo, perhaps. They want to have a try-on that will actually tell them how they will look in real life. Compelling try-on experience really needs to focus and understand the eye shape, eye area, apply accurate liner, accurate shadow placement, for a lip shape, lip finish. It needs to factor in the actual skin tone, lip color of the consumer and not apply it the same. Let's face it, if all of us pick up the same shade of lipstick and apply it, that same lipstick will look very different on each individual's lips because of the shape, because of the texture, because of the underlying color. Ability to show that and communicate both the product effects as well as achieve realism in applying that to that specific individual consumer is extremely important. Skin tones, undertones, all of that is extremely important. And then the overall face shape so that we could apply the contours, the highlights correctly. So that level of detail helps the shopper to truly feel that they're not just applying a mask of different look, but they're actually applying different products onto themselves. They will get the visual result that looks authentic, and it builds confidence. And confidence then replaces that uncertainty, and conversion follows. So that is absolutely important in that realism, true to life, and it doesn't matter, be it dramatic look or natural, being true to life, applicable to that specific person is extremely important. So, what else helps with the building experience and the journey? And I apologize, I will use a bit of our own Revieve terminology, and I'll highlight what I mean by that. But the key in all this is experience need to be a journey. It's not just about a tool in one place or another. That journey needs to be reinforced at a variety of distinct touch points. So for example, with Revive, we have makeup artist. Well, what's behind that? That is a module or the technology that actually facilitates actual different aspects of try on. So you do need to give that creative control to the consumer at the points where they reach decisions that they need to try, or where you want to introduce a decision points for them to try. You need to have that ability to plug that in where applicable, with ability to give them opportunity to not only try on perhaps a specific individual product, but blend them, layer them, customize them, pick different shapes. That in itself is pretty sophisticated module or solutions that you need to have. It's not just one size fits all. People do, even if you choose to focus on only one category, for example, maybe you're focusing just on the eyes, you still need to keep in mind that the solutions that you need to give them need to actually be applicable to what's happening in real life. And that is where consumer will be layering products. They will want to try different application shapes. For example, you should be able to suggest the shapes that match best their face, but they should also be able to try, select, imagine that, maybe dim or emphasize certain effects. That sophistication need to be there, and it's up to you to make sure that you introduce that at the relevant touch points. Then you still need a more comprehensive journey. So for example, in the language of Revive, we have the advisor, where you have complete guided experience, from being able to ask consumer a few questions about the intent, desires, goals, to guide them through the journey where you analyze their facial characteristics, color of the eye, under skin undertones, tones, just overall characteristics of their facial features, and then show them the selection that would best match their facial characteristics, as well as that would the selections that complements each other, and still give them that ability to control, select, change something. That is also a journey that is absolutely needed. And in many cases, we're seeing that you need both. You need opportunity for fully guided journey, as well as you need an opportunity for just a journey that focuses on that artistic visual expression. And then I will specifically call out Foundation Finder. Yes, you could blend that journey in with the rest of the makeup, but we are seeing that when it comes to foundation, consumers do prefer also to have an option of a standalone guided journey to find the foundation, just because that's very different. And we all know, right? There's more questions, there's a deeper level analysis that's needed. And that particular category kind of needs an extra attention. But having said that, if depending on what the nature of your business is, if, for example, your flagship product line or the main assortment is around lipsticks, you could change that makeup advisor into, for example, being lipstick finder, still having in mind that it would be a guided journey. So you do need an arsenal of different modular solutions that work best combined, allowing shoppers to both explore, personalize, decide, and mirror this kind of real world makeup experience. And the other reason for needing this modular journey, and we'll touch on that a little later in our conversation today, is also as you focus on omnichannel experience, you need to adopt the journeys, even though they need to be kind of coordinated and still have the same feel and recognition. You still need to apply and understand the nuances of different channels and deploy perhaps a more flexible solution that is applicable to a particular channel. So before we dive into channels, let's also talk about what's happening behind the scenes to make this magic possible. And of course, I could just say, oh, it's all AI, which is, there's a lot of AI. But at the same time, the reason AI does magic is that it relies on certain type of data, right? And you need platform or you need solution that can handle configuration at scale. And configuration in this particular case is slightly different than what you typically need to just list your catalog, right? You need shades, finishes, formats, application types, all the additional nuances behind the scenes that act as a data layer that tells AI what to show, how to show it. So you need the catalog that's properly enriched with this type of detailed metadata and classifications across color families, textures, just overall feel of your brand positioning as well, so that you could act on that. And that is not a small thing. So when you're looking for the solutions, do pay attention to that, because you might have a very structured catalog for overall doing retail business, but having a structured and properly enriched catalog for visualization purposes is whole other game and whole other level. I know we do that at Revieve, but as you're doing it, keep that in mind. That's super important, and it plays makes quite a big difference in the prior conversation about being able to achieve true to life and realistic look. Right? AI is only as good as the data that you train it on and feed it. So and then another point is, in today's environment, building this type of technology could, even with all the different AI tools at your fingertips, takes years still. So you do need to look into the solutions that you're able to deploy fast, that are easy to manage for you, and that can also scale across different markets and languages. And the trick here in scaling for beauty, remember we started this conversation by saying beauty begins with intent. Well, let's just touch on one simple thing. I'll make an example. We're all sitting, and I see even the people joining today are from all the different parts in the world. if I say, and I'm based in US, if I say I want natural look, and then someone from Europe says I want natural look, and someone from Middle East wants neutral look, and someone from APAC wants natural look, we all use the same word, but we all mean very different things, and those are completely different looks. So you do need technology that understand intent and how that intent might be communicated and what's different about that communication when it comes to different territories. And that's just one example. I didn't even go into the fact that if I say it versus a teenager uses that, even in the same region, we also mean different things. So ability to understand intent translated to your market, to your demographic, that is what is extremely important in any intent-based journey, and makeup is that journey specifically. So all the beautiful front-end experiences rely on this invisible, behind the scenes foundation of data and intelligent interpretation, and they do need to be modular so that you could apply different experiences or different steps of the experience to different situations. So again, just want to touch on each individual point a little more, right? Most of the challenge isn't just the front end, right? Again, product catalog is a big, big challenge because to drive that meaningful personalization, product data requires different level of enrichment for visualization, right? We know in colors there is hue and undertone and depth, and it's not enough to just understand what the color of the product. We might have literally the same product color between different brands, but it applies different. So you do need to understand how transparent that color, whether it's or not, how it applies, right? What's behind all of that configuration is extremely important. Otherwise, everything looks the same. And then, of course, the different finishes. And again, satin finish for one brand is not the same as satin finish for the other. So there is a lot of understanding of the catalog and formulations, and just understanding and knowledge of the brands that is important. So do pay attention to that when you are analyzing the technologies that you pick and the partners that you have. And then, of course, the format matters. And again, just being the same format still doesn't mean that it applies the same. So liquid or stick or powder from different brands doesn't apply or layer the same way. And then, of course, the usage of the product, that's another one. And what I mean by that is not all products are layerable, right? That is important to understand so that we could kind of introduce that and work that in when we're allowing or not allowing blending, or when we're applying intensity. And maybe certain products also behave differently in different light conditions. We are seeing products that, like, hey, with the dim lights, they maybe start to shine a little more, or things like that. So understanding all these nuances of the product requires very different level of enrichment and training and sophistication. So many organizations kind of underestimate this step because they still talk about makeup catalog and enrichment more in a traditional sense. I just need the color, I just need name of the finish, or I just need kind of like that basic information. It's much more sophisticated than that is needed to make that true to life virtual try-on. happen. And so I do challenge you, if you're working with somebody else, right? Ask those questions, right? If not, with us, we take care of this thing, this particular enrichment for that purpose, at a great level of depth, because that is extremely important, and it's usually not easily available right out of the gate, from any of our partners. All right. Then perhaps let's touch on another thing, and I think the other piece that I want to kind of highlight is that you truly do need the platform that is built for beauty, right? For that purpose. You do need the platform that is integration ready, that has global system, that has global scalability, that offers you multi-channel support, right? And experiences that perhaps could be either direct to consumer, or maybe experiences that live on your partner sites, and that does not require you to constantly build, build, build. But I want to also focus on the common myth that only luxury brands can offer the premium digital experience because it's extremely, extremely, extremely expensive. Today's tools and technologies have evolved. And it's absolutely possible for brands and retailers to launch high fidelity, hyper personalized beauty journeys in weeks and not quarters, not years. And those journeys would have the true to life visual realism, AI intelligence, regional scalability. You just need to choose wisely. This used to require full scale, dedicated tech teams, right? And years of fine tuning. But today, there are modular, effective, scalable solutions, and they are available for mid-sized players as well. And what's more importantly, in today's world, with the consumer being so sophisticated and so educated on what's out there, affordable luxury of the experience isn't a compromise, it's an expectation. So whether you're luxury brand or not, luxury experience for the consumer seems to be expected. So what is the outcome then, right, from investing in the technology like that? And we looked at the data across a variety of different solutions, our own data as well. And what you see is when you align that inspiration, visualization, and intelligent product mapping, you do get higher conversion. And we see up to 42% lift in some of our deployments due to that. You absolutely get more engagement. It's 3x time on page, and I'm talking about valuable time, the time that is towards that conversion, and it's higher return visits. And then you do see fewer returns, especially with the complexion products, right? So with the foundations, for example. And it opens up truly global scalability. So we have experiences of being live in over 40 plus markets, and it's consistent data that shows that with consistent UX, with consistent brand messages, with the modular technology that you deploy, you can be live in all the different markets with where you match the consumer intent. So it's not just about enhancing experience. We all know that we all want to enhance experience so that our business is also successful. it is truly a measurable growth engine. And it's not just cosmetic improvements. It is improvements that have implications on revenue, on margins, on customer retention. And it also opens up opportunities for partner collaboration. And I'll touch on that briefly in a few slides that are coming up. So many people ask, where and how do we deploy this journey? That, quite honestly, could be a conversation of its own. But if you recall, I kept saying modular, right? Why modular? Because you do need to move the shopper through the journey, and depending where in the journey they are, you might need to introduce a different element. So of course, having a completely guided journey fully and have those type of shoppers that like that, right? Where like they step in, you guide them, you ask questions, you do the analysis, you show the results, you absolutely will have that segment. But also the rest of the journey, we're kind of dividing into three major moments when it comes to makeup. Inspiration, that is where they're driven by visuals, feelings, context. So that's where you need to capture that. You need to bring in tools that allows them to either answer the questions that you might put in front of them in whatever form you might want to do that, right? Be the conversational AI or just straight up quiz and Q&A. But you also, in that inspiration now, today, need to offer them an opportunity to communicate inspiration visual or through abstract feelings. So it shouldn't be, are you looking for the shiny lipstick, right? It should be what inspires you or what type of look are you trying to achieve. And oftentimes today you'll see what kind of mood you're trying to achieve. So you do need to have that module that allows them to express their inspiration or perhaps to get inspired from suggested looks or something like that. Then there is a consideration, right? Where now perhaps they're seeing options, and that is usually where it's extremely important to have that visual element, to allow them to try and see how they will actually look, and that experience has to be great. It needs to be true to life and applicable to that particular person. And then, of course, the purchase, right? What goes well together. It's not just about in makeup, oftentimes, especially if they started from inspiration, they want that complete look. So they will be not just layering products from the same category, but they will want to complement that lipstick with a different eyeshadow and so on. So being able to provide recommendation of perhaps a dynamic bundle, right, or routines that they could use is extremely important to close that loop. So the technology that you choose has to be able to support all three of those components. It's not just about final recommendation. You need to be able to have at least this kind of like three major components of that journey, and they need to be introduced at the right time. So with that, what could be an examples, right, of what and where to introduce this type of experience? So perhaps for brand marketeers or digital leaders, right, that could open new strategic levers as well, right? It's not just about promoting a SKU, it's about promoting a journey. And once you build that experience, where should it live, right? So beauty discovery should happen everywhere. So if you have a brand website, you should have that journey. And again, I'm reminding that that journey should have both the guided journey, But don't forget about your product detail pages as well. That is kind of the last step of conversion usually, and that is a major decision point. So be sure to offer visualization opportunity, ability to guide and do that kind of extra final point on there as well. Don't forget to promote and show off this type of technology in your social media ads or feeds. Oftentimes, we're still seeing that the marketing activity focused on individual product or look that ultimately drives you to a SKU, but allowing for the consumer to also experience a bit more sophisticated journey within that ad or promotion or feed will convert much better and will also generate opportunity to upsell other categories as well. Same applies to the influencer content. Don't just show it. Introduce abilities for the consumer to interact. And then again, if you're on a shelf in store, use the QR codes that guide them to the experience, that allows them to try on the experience, to complement the products. And you can and should work with your retailers to also create a strategy where if you have technology at your fingertips that you invested into building, you can negotiate with the retailers and retailer platforms where you're working on to deploy your technology for your brand on their property. We have a number of experiences like that. It works tremendously to your advantage. Don't rely on a retailer to have the technology. They might have it, but they might be reserving it for some other agreements or for certain placements or for their own rules. If you have technology of your own that you're using on your site, you can work with the retailers to also use your own technology on their properties. And remember, that will also give you a bit more insight into what is happening on those partner, retailer, or marketplace properties. So when done right, this type of technology becomes not only a great tool for you, but it's a great negotiation tool for securing premium placements or better conversion rates and much more data control. And I know that particular topic has been on many people's mind. We've gotten many requests, so perhaps stay tuned. We might do a session just on that as well. Now, for retailers, it's still same holds, right? It's still about bringing experiences that have both consumer and commercial value. Those two go hand in hand. It leads to better shopper engagement, higher conversion rates, fewer returns, but it also does apply in reverse an opportunity for retail media monetization. You can use that technology to strengthen your relationship with the brands. If you're a retailer, for the brands that want to participate, it could be a premium placement. So there's a variety of different things and leverages on how you can use this technology not only to generate and increase consumer conversion and value, but also to create monetization strategy. It and build a stronger relationship with brands as well. It opens up a lot of different avenues in that regard. So this is in the end, right? What is that about? It's about changing this conversation. The conversation is no longer about how do we list or how do we promote this product. Is how do we create the personal journey that makes that product the center of attention. And with that, the brands gain visibility, you get shopper insights, you get a lot of data that perhaps you could then use to make additional decisions about your assortment strategy, about product line expansions, about perhaps even formulation, right? And it allows you to create true differentiation. And then retailers can not only drive loyalty and revenue, but you can monetize this technology in a variety of different ways. So AI personalization is not just a consumer journey story. AI personalization is a shared strategic layer that you could leverage across different teams in your organization if done right. So, as I mentioned, right, we're kind of getting towards the end of this, and of course, the topic itself is extremely exciting and endless. And as I was putting this together, I realized just what it means to personalize consumer journey in different geographies. That topic alone could be probably a number of different sessions. Quite interesting data there. But today we focused really more on what you need to do for consumer journey, how to personalize, and that really is the foundation. You do need that technology, you do need that experience, but there is absolutely more to explore once that's done. So we will be announcing a few additional sessions, and in those sessions, we'll take a look at how brands and retailers can co-own these experiences, how retail media can evolve through this type of try-on and personalization and have additional monetization strategy, and how partnerships can be deepened through perhaps shared data or shared outcomes. So do stay tuned for us announcing part 2 of this particular conversation, which will be called AI Retail and the Future of Beauty Partnerships. We'd love to have you there, and that's coming up. But then, of course, if there are any other topics that perhaps specific to makeup or to other topics that we opened up in our webinars earlier, please, we would love your feedback. We would like to hear more on what you would like to dive into. Maybe it's about catalog, maybe it's about monetization strategy, maybe it's about the differences on deploying the solutions in physical environment versus online. We could address and dive in and have some very interesting conversations on each one of those topics. So with that said, just wanted to pull up this slide a bit. If some of you guys want to scan QR code, you should be able to see some of the life experiences from different solutions, not just makeup, from us, and just kind of get inspiration and an example. But other than that, again, thank you for joining. We will be following up. Tell us your feedback. Book a session with us for more guided conversation. And for those interested, please let us know and join us in the next webinar series. Until then, have a great summer and great business, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.